Hello and welcome to Good Stuff. This is Dustin Bork. We are sponsored by Powerade. We're excited. We're here. And by we, I mean me. We're going to dive right into it. I had a major issue with a lot of the Orlando shooting. I don't know what you want to call them. Not preachers or protesters, but I don't know. Just the nosy people that want to critique everything and want to get their input in. They want to be heard on social media, whatever, etc. I took a lot of issue with the whole gun crap, and I say this meaning people who are gun. We have a huge gun problem in America, and just like going nuts about guns. And I guess my biggest problem is, I've always said it. It's not the gun's fault. Somewhere in some cartoon universe, there's a gun sitting there being prosecuted for all these murders, and the gun's like, well, what the hell, man? I'm just, you know what I mean? It's just me. I'm not pulling the trigger. And, it's a joke. I don't want to make light of the situation or any other situation where someone's getting shot or anything bad's happening. But it's just, it's a crappy situation that nobody wants to deal with. Nobody wants to hear anybody getting hurt. But at the same time, you can't blame an object. We think about it like this. If we were to ban all firearms from America, okay, make it illegal to own them. Shotguns, pistols, AK-40, it does not matter. Assault rifles. We made it in America, in the United States, we made it illegal to own a gun. Are you telling me right now that there wouldn't be a single person out there that had a gun, that owned a gun? People think about it like drugs. Crack cocaine, heroin. I mean, heroin's just taken over now. I don't know what's going on with that stuff. That stuff must be a blast because there's tons of people on heroin nowadays. But my point is it's illegal. How come it's still there? It's still being made. It's still being purchased. It's still being traded. So this moronic idea that if we just ban guns that's going to solve our whole problem, it makes no sense. The reason why it makes no sense is, well, for one, when you go and buy a gun, you get background checked. Now, if you tell me that the background checking process is dog shit, okay, then fine. But, I don't know about it. I don't own a gun. But I know many people who own guns. My father owns several. My father was a hunter. I know tons of relatives that have guns. I don't think they went through this giant background check because they're older. Maybe the background check thing wasn't around when they bought their guns back in the day. But nowadays you get a background check. So it's like, what more do you want? Do you want when you go to a gun store? What do people want? You want literally DNA tests done and character references. That's what you want? That's what you want done in order to buy a gun? It makes no sense. So, people, we'll ban the guns. We'll ban them. We'll ban everything. We'll ban all guns, ammunition, the whole thing, and it'll solve violence problems. Tell me how, if you were to ban a gun, someone wouldn't find a baseball bat and beat someone to death. Now, I understand in the Orlando shooting that you wouldn't go into a nightclub with a baseball bat and be able to take out 100 people. I'm sure somebody would, get on top of you, or there would be a pileup of people that would stop the person with the bat or whatever. But my point is that getting rid of guns doesn't solve violence. All it does is piss a lot of good, decent people off that own the guns. And then maybe, just maybe, now there's a 50%, it's probably lower than a 50% chance, but if you take away a gun, maybe it doesn't get in the hands of that fucking moron that shoots everybody up. But can you guarantee that? Can you promise me that? Because I'm not going to vote for that. I'm not going to vote for getting rid of guns if you can't 100% guarantee me that after you get rid of the guns, all gun crimes stop. You can't do it. You can't. It's impossible. People need to wake up and smell the coffee. Okay? It's not going to fix all of our problems by banning guns in America. You think what? You think that, oh, well, if we ban guns, it'll be harder for the convicts and the criminals, the felons, and all these jerks to get their hands on guns? Really? You really think that? How easy is it to get heroin? How easy is it to get cocaine, drugs of any kind? Everybody's got a drug dealer on speed dial. Hashtag Nickelback. It's just like everybody knows somebody. I'm not a drug person, so I don't know of any drug dealers. I'm not just saying that because I'm being recorded right now. I honestly, throw me on a lie detector test. I don't know any drug dealers off the top of my head. Could I probably find one? Yeah, I could probably ask a few people who could ask a few people who could find me one. But that's the point, right? No matter what, someone knows someone that can get you something. Okay? So if guns were the problem, and guns were, well, they are the problem, but if guns were the thing that was off the market, come on, people would still have them. All that would really do would make the cost for a gun go up. Because then your $400 pistol, handgun, whatever, would be $1,000 because of how rare it is and how hard it is to get your hands on. But you could still get your hands on it, which is the point. Okay? I wanted to start the show with the gun's not the problem. It wasn't the gun who did it. You know? It wasn't the gun's fault. It's the moron, that piece of shit that's holding the gun. Right? What kind of world do we live in where if we could basically blame the weapon and not the person yielding the weapon? Do you people realize the moron, like how stupid that sounds? So if somebody goes and runs somebody over with the car, you're gonna put that 98 Buick up on the stand to take the oath? No, you're gonna charge the person who was driving the car. So think about that, right? Let me give you an example. Okay, someone is charged for running someone down, right? I don't know what the technical term is for that, other than like a hit and run, but I'm pretty sure there's more of a term if you kill someone, like motor manslaughter or something. If you just run someone down with an automobile. But so you do that. You kill someone with your car. You don't hear people flipping out saying, oh, you got a huge car problem in America. We got to get these cars off the streets. No, it's because, it's the driver and not the car that was the problem. Right? So this is why I get frustrated. You got all these dipshits on Twitter, all these dipshits on Facebook, on whatever, and they're all sending out all their bad vibes about guns. People, guns are not the problem. I know people that were in the military that used to send pieces of their legit weapons home to their spouse and then would put the weapon back together when they got back from overseas. That's very illegal, but they do it. So if our own military did that, right, and it wasn't like the one person that I knew that did it, like it was a very common thing, sending back like an assault rifle in pieces or sending back a different weapon in pieces, like that's what I was told they did, and that's why this guy's got weapons in his house that were his actual weapons overseas. So that's my point. There's going to be a way. There's always a way. So you really think, all right, well, we get rid of guns, it'll stop the violence. You're telling me right now that that'll stop, we get rid of the guns, is that going to stop that dude that shanked somebody the other day? Or how about the person that just beat the dude down with his bare fists? Or how about the guy that clubbed somebody over the back of the head with a crowbar? Come on, people. If you're a violent human being, you're going to kill somebody some way, somehow. Okay? That's just how you roll. So getting rid of a weapon is not going to stop that person from achieving their goal of violence. So this dude straight up wanted to get this done. If he hadn't had a gun, he would have killed some people outside the nightclub. Maybe he would have waited for him to walk home, caught him in a dark spot. Who the frick knows? Maybe he would have gone right into the club and just started taking people out with knives. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, it's not the gun's fault. The gun has a driver. The gun has someone operating the gun. Just like the car that ran somebody over had the driver. You do not see the car taking the blame. You don't see us calling for mass overhaul and we're going to take cars off the road. No, you chalk it up to the moron that was in the driver's seat. It's no different with a gun. There's a moron in the driver's seat. You know? There's a lot of people out there that are hunters. There's a lot of people out there that are former military that are very well, equipped, and they're mentally stable, and they can keep that gun, and they know everything about that gun. They know how to use it. They got it. They keep it safe. Those are the people I'm fighting for. Those are the people I'm defending right now because those people deserve that gun. I got a buddy, Bobby, who told me a long time ago, back when this whole, there was a lot of that PTSD stuff going around about the veterans that came back that were a little, and you were worried about them. And there were a lot of people that were worried about those PTSD former vets having weapons because they thought that the vet would snap and then take the gun and go on a shooting spree. And I agreed for a while because that's scary stuff because those vets come back stressed out beyond belief and sometimes they can't control themselves. But credit to Bobby, what he said was, I'd rather have that crazy former military guy with a gun than some Joe Blow off the street that doesn't really know how to use it. And that right there is what put me on the other side of the fence, the other side of the argument. I said, you know what, you're right, because I would too. And we threw around the, what's that movie with Thor, the military movie, Red Dawn. We threw around Red Dawn scenarios. You know, all of a sudden you look out your window, holy shit. You look out your window, holy shit, there's Japanese people parachuting in, there's planes, and there's about to be a takeover. I'm going to be feeling pretty good if I'm living next door to the PTSD vet because I know he's going to pull out his assault rifle and do work, or he's going to start planning on how to, get out of the situation. So, that's my point is it's all about the driver. It's all about the person operating the weapon, operating the vehicle. You can't punish not technology. You can't punish objects. And guns are taking a lot of heat right now because of what the people who are using the guns are doing. All right? Yeah, I don't know. It would be pretty interesting to see. I don't know the numbers of, like, crime. Like, how many people have used a gun incorrectly to how many people have used the gun correctly. Like, meaning, I guess if they took a poll of the recreational gun users versus the violent gun users to see what the numbers are, I'm sure they're very staggering and heavy in crime favor because we live in America and there's a lot of crime. But my point is there's probably a lot of people that know how to use a gun and don't kill people with it and don't rob banks with it and go to convenience stores and rob convenience stores, So, I have such a problem with people who blame a gun, who blame an item and not the person that's using the item. Like, somebody goes and starts stabbing people left and right. Like, think about, this is going to bring me into what I'm talking about later, the OJ doc, but OJ, he knifed people up left and right. Are we banning all knives and all sale of knives? No, he's just a fucked up guy. He killed somebody. So take your BS about this guns need to be banned. Get the hell out of here, dude. It's all about just stay out of bad situations. Now I know that there's crime, there's poverty. Sometimes you live in the projects, the ghetto, whatever, and you're just surrounded by people that have guns. Listen, I don't know what to tell you. keep to yourself, I guess. I don't know. Barricade in your house, never leave. I really don't know what to say to that. I really don't. I don't know how to respond to someone who's stuck living in a crime-infested neighborhood. I don't know what to say. Get the hell out of there. I don't know. Run until you're in a non-infested area. You can't tell me that rent in that gang-infested area is that much cheaper than rent in 3, towns over. Just get away from weapons if you don't like them, but don't call for banning of weapons, okay? That's just ridiculous. So everybody on social media, shut the hell up. God, let's move on. This is a good segue. The Cavs won the title. Not really the best segue, but I don't give a shit. So the Cavs won the title. I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure the Warriors were the team that they had shown they were all season. They were so dominant. Maybe it's because when you play a team in a series, when there's 7 games and they're back to back to back to back to back to back to back, that you really can't shake the other team. The other team starts to learn your habits, starts to learn a lot about you. I think when you do that, when you play 7 games against somebody, or let's say at the very minimal 4, if it was a sweep, you really do start to understand your opponent and get all of their weaknesses and strengths and learn how to go after the weaknesses and try to muff out the strengths. And all season long, the Golden State Warriors just looked like this team that was playing larger than life. They looked like this team that was just so much better than everybody that it made me start thinking that they're like in the A division and everybody else is in the B division. Like, it just looked like Golden State was the big leagues and everybody else was just trying to keep up. And to me, that made me think that they were just going to run the table. It made me think that not only were they going to run the table, but they were going to embarrass people. And they didn't end up embarrassing people, which is what shocked me. They almost lost to the Thunder. They were the ones that came back 3-1 prior to giving up the 3-1 lead in the finals. They did it. They were the ones that rallied. Usually when a team does that, they start to get this feeling of like they're the team of destiny, right? That they're this team that can't be stopped. That they're so good that it's meant to be. And I was stunned. I could not believe it. That Steph Curry just doesn't show up. And yeah, he really picked the worst possible time to not show up. He picked the year he was voted unanimous MVP. He picked the absolute worst year to do this. He got back-to-back MVP, locked up unanimous for the first time ever. Players like Michael Jordan, Steve Nash, Tim Duncan, players had never had a unanimous MVP, and Steph Curry did it. That is something that is like that is the ultimate compliment. That's like ultimate once in a lifetime type player to get an award like that. And Steph Curry did it. He locked it up. He got unanimous MVP. So he gets unanimous MVP, and what does he do? He starts to just I don't know. He's not playing like Steph Curry during the season. He's not averaging more than 30. He's not hitting big threes to win games. Don't get me wrong. Throughout the playoffs, I think he had that one. He had like one game. I'm yawning. And it's only 8:53, so suck it, Joe. He had like one game, I believe, in the semis where he was absent all game and then showed up for like the last 5 minutes of either the third quarter or the fourth quarter. think it was against the Thunder, and he started doing his "I'm back, I'm here" thing. And that's what got me to leave the Steph Curry bandwagon, was when he was doing that. I was so pissed off because on the one hand, I'm stuck looking at LeDouche James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then on the other hand, I'm looking at this kid whose head's starting to get so big that he's starting to become an egotistical piece of shit. So I didn't know who to root for. I was struggling. This sucked. This was literally like, I think I tweeted it out. This was like that Pistons Spurs finals. Are you kidding me? This is what I gotta watch? I gotta watch two slow, defensive-minded, pass 20 times before the 24-second shot clock goes off teams? That's my finals? And I'm not saying that this one paled, that it didn't have any excitement, but I am saying that it was like, I was conflicted. I didn't know who to root for, because I fucking hate LeBron James. I fucking hate it. I'll get to that next. But I could at least sit there and say, you know what? If LeBron doesn't act like a piece of shit after, when he wins, I can be okay with it, because it's first time in forever since Cleveland's won a blah 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 professional championship. But I think Kyrie Irving's one of the best point guards in the league, if not the best. I love him as Uncle Drew. I've always thought he was I always said he had the best ball handling since he came into the league. I saw something with him. His dad it was either his dad or he learned from somebody. You practice dribbling with a plastic bag on the outside of the basketball, so you learn how to play with a ball without any grip. That's unbelievable. I use that when I coach my kids now. That's incredible. So I loved Uncle Drew. I was pumped for him and RJ, Richard Jefferson, because I'm a New Jersey Nets fan. And the back-to-back years that they went to the finals, J. Kidd, RJ, Kenyon Martin. So I'm glad that Richard got his championship, because Kidd later on went and he got to Dallas when Dallas beat LeDouche that first year in Miami. Kidd got his chip, which he very, very much deserved. And finally, Richard got his. It's too bad that Kenyon isn't going to get his, because Kenyon Martin was an awesome player for a while until his knee got screwed up. But so I started to find peace and say, you know what? If Cleveland wins, I guess I can be okay with it, because Richard Jefferson gets his ring, and I like Uncle Drew. But just don't be an egotistical piece of crap, please, LeDouche James. That was my only stipulation. Couldn't do it. I'll get to that. But so on the other end, you got the Warriors, and all of a sudden, I see I see Steph Curry in the Thunder series get a steal from Kevin Durant, I believe, and then go to the top corner of the court. Before it was a half-court violation, and he starts beating his chest like he just made the play of the game. There was like 3 minutes left of the game. And he's beating his chest, celebrating in the corner. And I'm like, really? Then, I'll never forget it, hits a big three, I'm back. And he starts screaming at the camera, I'm back. I'm like, all right, strike two. And then what does he do? Has a big ending of Game 6, throws up the 7 fingers. I couldn't believe it. Throws up the Game 7 fingers. I mean, and I think they were in Oklahoma City. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was Game 6. They had home court advantage, so they were in Oklahoma City. Starts taunting the crowd by throwing up 7 fingers. Kind of a douchebag. Kind of a douche. So, I'm like, well, you know what? Well, if they're playing whoever, the Bulls, blah, 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 screw this prep school piece of shit. I'm rooting for the East. Oh, but wait. It's LeDouche. Mr. I think I'm better than Michael Jordan, and I'm the chosen one, so I'm going to get the chosen one tattooed on my back. And I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, and everybody needs to bow to me. I'm King James. That piece of shit All he had to do was be gracious. What does he do when he wins? Drops to the ground. Fake cries for a little bit. It's all about the city, man. It's all about bringing one back to the land. Starts doing his crying, whatever, man. Okay. Cry away. Good. Yep. All right. What happens after the dust settles? Confetti's on the ground. All the balloons have dropped. What happens next? They get to the podium. He walks up there, throws up the 303. And by 303, I mean he's got 3 fingers on one hand, 3 fingers on the other, and he's waving them around. Not even like a proper person. No, he's got the thug 3 fingers up. 3 fingers on each. You know, your pinky, your ring finger, and your middle finger. 3 fingers. All that piece of shit cares about is his legacy. Alright? And we're not talking Tom Brady at the end of his career, twilight of career, defending his legacy because he's cheating. No. That's fine. This dude's on the way out. He wants to defend his legacy. You should be thinking about your legacy when you're in your late 30s. I get it. LeBron ain't there yet. Okay? He's not there yet. Some people are still saying he's just leaving his prime. He's still in his prime. And you're worried about your legacy? You're worried about your legacy right now. You just won a title for what you said was the most important reason. The land. You just won a title. The biggest professional sports accolade to happen to that whole community. Forever. It's been forever. And what do? You get up and you do your little beep, 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 3 fingers. Because I saw Kobe do it. I saw Jordan do it. Guess what, guys? Look at me. I can do it too. No. Be humble, you fucking piece of shit. But nope. Too much to ask from LeDouche James. That's why he's a douchebag. That's why I can't stand him. And I'm sorry. I could not get on board with that. I was pissed off about it. There's a ton of Golden State Warriors haters out there, and rightfully so. I mean, Curry talks shit and taunts people mid-game. You know, if that happened in any other professional sport, people would riot. You know, I mean, people flip out when Cam Newton does his little dabbing and all this gay shit and his thug life dancing, his little hip-hop dance team, high school dance club dances in the end zone. People lose their fucking minds. They lose their shit when Cam does it. So why the hell is it okay if Steph does it? You know, it's whatever. So Steph, they did it to themselves. The Golden State Warriors, they were so dominant that they automatically became the villain. Anytime anybody wins for a long period of time or is dominating while they're winning, everybody hates you. Nobody likes the ungracious winner. Nobody likes the constant winner. People like it, the once-in-a-while guy. You know, that guy that comes, the underdog. Or, you know, the one every 10-year person. Nobody likes the person that's just, like, always constantly winning so much that that's all you ever hear. You know? So, I think Golden State did it to themselves. They had the best season in history. They only lost 9 games. You know, when you're that good, people are going to hate you. I'm sorry. You know, I don't like the Patriots, but I'm going to be honest, the Patriots win a lot. Why are they the most hated team, if not the second most hated team behind the Dallas Cowboys? It's because they fucking win a lot. They win all the time. So, if you're constantly winning, then that's just what happens. People start to hate you. People get sick of listening to you all the time. That's why the Pats take a lot of heat. Pats are always winning. You know, I guess it's a good problem to have because you're always winning. So people are sick of seeing you, sick of hearing from you. But whatever, man. So Golden State did it to themselves, and that's just what happens. You're winning all the time. You're dominating. People get sick of you. They go to the other side. And who happened to be on the other side? LeDouche James. So LeDouche had a lot of fans this year, and there's a lot of bandwagon fans, or I don't know what the word would be. temporary fans, like fans that have another team that they normally root for, but this year they're like, I'm rooting for LeBron. So it's whatever, man. Stay loyal to your home crew, to your own team. Don't jump on bandwagons. All right, bandwagon fans suck. There's not a lot of people that should be celebrating this championship this year because there's not a lot of Cleveland Cavalier fans. So usually, if you spot one, they probably can't tell you every player on the team. So we'll leave it at that. Moving on, let's stay with basketball, though. How about that DRose trade, right? I was devastated. And the reason why I was devastated is because I wanted him on the Nets. I think Derrick Rose in his prime is the most exciting player I've ever watched in my life. He was unbelievable, man. When he was flying around, I had never seen anything like it. That's actually what made me appreciate Russell Westbrook, because when I saw Westbrook doing it, I'm like, these guys are fucking, and I don't mean this racially, but they're monkeys. They're lightning bolts. They're jumping and swinging, and they're just going nuts. They can jump through the ceiling. And I mean, I couldn't believe the athleticism on these guys. And Derrick Rose before the first knee injury was a freak. I can still picture in my head perfectly, like I'm watching the highlight as I'm talking to you right now on this podcast, the breakaway where he dunks on one of the guys from the Phoenix Suns, and it looks like he just doesn't know how to drop out of the air. Like it looks like he's getting sucked into the moon. Like gravity doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to him. It was the craziest dunk I have ever freaking seen mid game. I couldn't believe it. And I just thought it was unbelievable. So I thought Derrick Rose was one of the greatest players I've ever seen in a long time. So the knee injury happens, whatever, and he's losing confidence in himself, going through all these mental issues. But in reality, the Bulls were a mess. Thibodeau and the front office were having problems. The whole team was melting down. The emergence of Jimmy Butler, blah, blah, blah. And now Rose wanted out. Where does he go? The fucking Knicks. So I'm frustrated because I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, and I see it now. I can see it. The Nets are becoming the Mets of the NBA. They're going to be that little brother that doesn't get anything. No, they get no attention. They get nothing. And that's not what I want. I don't want my Nets to be that team that doesn't ever get any consideration. I want the Nets to be back to finals glory, man. I want them to be back to getting to the big dance, to being a serious playoff contender. And I think with the new GM, that Mark seems to know what he's doing, He seems to know his shit. He's from a big-time organization that wins a lot, and he's been around winners. And I think he can duplicate that, but I think he needs solid players. Now, maybe I say I'm thinking with my stomach, meaning like my appetite's bigger than I really am hungry, or that I think I can eat more than I really can. Meaning, like, Derrick's so fucking good. We could use him. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's so messed up in the head that he'll never be the player he once was, so maybe it's a good thing the Nets didn't get him. Because fuck the Knicks. But, God, it really bums me out because, of all the active current players, he's probably my favorite. There's nothing out there that I like anymore. I was a Jason Kidd fan my whole life, and after that, Darren Williams was the closest thing to him, and then Darren fell apart. And Darren's a joke. He's in Dallas. God knows what the hell is going to happen to him. But, God, they got the trade. I'm actually watching the draft right now. This is the draft special of good stuff. They were just showing the trade, the Bulls and the Knicks, what each team got. I just can't believe it. Of all places, you hate to see inside your division get better, because you got to play these guys. You got to play this team 4 times a year. And I just don't know. It sucks. Last thing I want is the Knicks to get their shit together. They're always that team that we beat up on. You know, they were always dog shit. Scarberry and God, I don't even remember. What's his face? God, Sprewell. They're dog shit, man. I hate them. I hate them. I hate the Sixers. I hate the God, I hate the Raptors, and I can't fucking stand the Boston Celtics. They suck so bad. I hate them. But yeah, that's why I couldn't even accept Paul Pierce on that 1-year rental, or that 2-year rental rather. No. Yeah, Pierce was a 1-year rental. Garnett was a 2-year, or a 1.65 year, whatever. He ended up going back to Minnesota after that shit fizzled out. But rose to the Knicks, man. Can't believe it. It's too bad. But I guess they just, I don't know, everybody's shocked about that pick. The Bulls just picked up Valentine out of Michigan State, but I don't really give a shit about the Bulls. But, yeah, man, it's too bad because he's a Chicago-born, Chicago-raised kid, so it's really hard, I think, for you to fuck that up, to be a hometown hero. You get to go as a Chicago-born and raised kid and go play for the Chicago Bulls and be an MVP, and you fuck that up? It just seems crazy, man. I can't believe they couldn't make that work. But, fucking whatever. Alright, so how about that OJ doc? I finished it last week. Saw all 5 parts. Each one 2 hours long, but I mean, you take commercials out, it's probably like an hour, 35 hour, 40 minutes. Because, yeah, they have a commercial like every, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes there's a commercial break, so commercials suck. Oh, yeah, and by the way, this podcast is sponsored by Powerade. Delicious Mountain Berry Blast. But anyways, no, yeah, commercials suck, and other than that, though, I mean, it's a very long, lengthy, that's what she said, it's a very long and lengthy documentary that you learn tons. I mean, they did a great fucking job. It was an ESPN project. I believe it aired on ABC. I might be wrong. Maybe it was exclusive on ESPN. I could have swore it was originally not on ESPN. Broadcast on ESPN, I don't remember. It's been a little while since I've seen it. But they did a really good job. I mean, you learn so much about it. I originally bitched and complained and ranted and raved about how it was very racial at the beginning, meaning it was just so, you had to learn so much about the times, all this racial tension, and, you know, all the Rodney King stuff, and people getting beat down by the police, and fuck the police, and white America, black man in white America, all this bullshit. But you actually needed to hear that to understand the twists and the turns of the OJ trial, because there was a lot of times. So, I mean, if you want to do the summary, OJ is a black man that wanted nothing to do with the black community. You know, hung out with all the rich white people, got all the money, got all the fame, everything he wanted, and then the second that he got into trouble and was on trial, he pulled the race card. His lawyers pulled out the race card and turned the trial not into murder, but into, well, why is this a racial thing? I mean, now I got a trial full of people that can't be objective, and they're going to be racial, and blah, 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 and we need to, and then sure as shit, they pulled out the race card, and they said, this is a black man in a white system, and, you know, he's gonna get abused, and this, that, and the other, just like all the ones before him, and we need to make a change. And it's like, okay, you're going to pick this time to make a change? The time where this guy is so blatantly fucking obviously a murderer? You're going to pick this one to let the guy off? Not the guy that just ran the red light, but you're gonna let the murderer go free? Well, so that's crazy. It was a fucking crazy doc, and it shocked the hell out of me. I don't know. I don't know why I tend to tune out society. I don't get it. I was laughing and telling my wife the other day that I did something similar to, I think there was like a flight, I don't know, Flight 9/11 or something. It was about the 9/11 incident, but it was about the plane that crashed, or one of the planes that crashed. And I was pissed off when I got to the ending of the movie. Spoiler alert! And the plane goes down, and then the movie ends. So apparently everybody dies. And everybody looked at me when I said that. They're like, "Are you a fucking moron, dude? Like, it's a national story. They all died." So it was like, I was joking because I was like laughing to myself, like almost like if I watched the Titanic and found out that that the ship sank. It's like, I should know this. I should know events, current events, historic events. I should know this. But so anyways, I had no idea he was found innocent in the original trial, and then ended up getting himself in trouble for trying to steal back his memorabilia side stuff. But I had no idea. But it was a cool documentary. I mean, you learned a ton. It was kind of creepy. It really gory. You really see a lot of you see the murdered bodies and everything. It's really too bad. It's a shitty ass story, but a great fucking documentary. So for anybody who hasn't seen it and who's considering it, watch that shit. Because if you've watched that Making a Murderer doc, you'll love this. Moving on. My last thing, for all the wrestling fans out there, and I've had a few of you guys tweet to me. I watched Money in the Bank. I'm excited for this brand split idea. It's happening in July. I think that the company needs it. I think they need it badly. And God, it's just too. I'm so upset with the missed opportunity WWE had with Dean Ambrose as the Money in the Bank winner. And I say this because I think Seth Rollins is so great and so good at being annoying and acting like that wuss. That champion that doesn't deserve to be champion. And I think that there was a huge missed opportunity with Dean and Seth because Dean could have been that psycho, right? That's his whole MO. That's his whole character now, that lunatic fringe. He could have been like funny with the suitcase, stalking Seth, could have been following him around, popping up out of, left and right. Do you ever know when I'm going to cash in? There was so much opportunity there that they didn't even explore. Now, I said on Off the Ropes. Off the Ropes is a great podcast we do with the other co-founder of Overtime.News. They do every Monday from 10 to 11:30. Check them out. Off the Ropes every Monday, 10 to 11:30. It's the Icon, it's Jason, it's Chris, and they talk you through the final hour of Raw. And then they spend a half an hour recapping it and then just talking about random shit and Attitude Era, all the glory days. And I brought it up. I called into the show last week and I said, this week, I called in this Monday and I told him it's a huge missed opportunity, man. Because there's so much brilliance behind Dean Ambrose and his character that they could have had so much fun with it. And they just didn't. They just flat out didn't. And I'm just like, why? Why not? And I said, is it because of the draft? Is it because they're just trying to, to rush it? Like, we just needed to, here's some win Money in the Bank, just cash in right away. Because they're so fucking predictable. You knew that he was going to do it. You knew the second Dean Ambrose won that he was going to cash in that night to do the whole, it's karma, to get Seth back for what he did to Roman, and I just couldn't believe how predictable it was. I said on the show, I said on Off the Ropes, it was as predictable as Triple H dropping the belt to Roman. Everybody knew that was going to happen. Everybody. Every single person. There wasn't a single wrestling fan out there, an intelligent wrestling fan out there, who didn't think that drop was going to happen. It was so fucking obvious. So I just couldn't believe it. Anyways, it's just, Dean wins, cashes in, takes out Seth. The only thing I thought was interesting is how the cash-in, excuse me, how the cash-in happened. I thought Dean was going to come in the middle of the match and do what Seth did. They waited until Seth got the W over Roman, which was kind of a fuck you to Roman, I think, but I don't care because I hate Roman. And Seth goes and hits whatever. And, I mean, yeah, Seth wins the title. They let him celebrate for, 30 seconds. Dean comes out, and then, boom, you got a new champ. So, I mean, I just think it was a huge missed opportunity, but we'll see what happens. Maybe they want Seth to carry SmackDown, so when they introduce that new draft and the new belt, they'll have a big tournament, Seth will win, or whatever, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they'll... I don't know. I don't know if there's another pay-per-view before the draft or not, but maybe if there's another pay-per-view, Seth will win the belt, carry Raw, and then they'll put the, they'll put the kids in SmackDown. But I don't think so. I think they're going to try to build SmackDown up like a big boy brand, like they should have the first time, and they didn't. But who the fuck knows? All right, folks. It was a solid show. Got a lot off my chest. We'll be back the same bat time, same bat channel next week. Good stuff.